Hi there, Dr. Amanda here. I just wanted to spend a moment and go through with you the process of handling the testing for IgG and similar things. So this is with Genova Diagnostics. This would be the box that you receive as the patient. And so there's a few things inside that you'll just want to know what to do with. So first and foremost, you can unpack it when you receive it and go through and just make sure all the included materials are indeed there. You'll see this sheet, which does include that entire list of what should be included in your packet. If something does not match, of course, let us know. The first thing you'll do once you unpack it and check it is to get this, which is an ice block, into the freezer. They say on the packaging that it needs 8 hours, I think. However, I would recommend at least 24. If you go through the whole process of doing this, you just want to make sure the results are taken care of properly. And this will help to shortcut any any chance of the blood work not getting there in good condition. So make sure your ice block goes into the freezer for about 24 hours. When you go on the day of testing, you've got your styrofoam case. You're gonna put that ice block in the bottom. It's gonna be already frozen. So next thing is going to be the requisition form that looks like this. This is from Genova Diagnostics, which is where your blood work is ultimately going to end up. What I've done is to highlight on this some different areas in pink. These are the areas that you're going to be filling out. And so the first one, the date that you do actually get the test, you want to fill this in. So this is the date that your blood work is drawn. You won't fill that in advance. You want to get that right the day of. Just below that is going to be a list of different codes, which will include the options you have for testing. Most of our patients are going to pick this first box, which is called the IgG and IgE. And we will have spoken about what those mean. Essentially, that's going to be immune response testing as well as allergy test. In terms of allergies, this top one does not give you feedback on specific foods. What it does is just give you a total amount of allergen in your body. Just below that, you're gonna see an option for foods. And then again below that, you'll see an option for what are called inhalants. This would be things like tree allergies, grass, etc. So you can look through here and make those choices. Each one has an additional cost, so keep that in mind. Feel free to ask questions of us if you are not sure what the cost framework is, and we'll get that feedback for you. On the other side, you'll see two spots, that we will fill in. Number one is going to be the provider signature, and below that is the marking that you're going to be a self-pay patient. This isn't something that runs through insurance from our office. If you choose to get some separate billing information from Genova Diagnostics to try and do that, it's certainly up to you, and you can be sure to let them know. On the back side of this form, you'll see lots of information that they're requesting regarding who you are, what your address is, those types of things. They will not process your test if you don't fill that in. So it's easy to skip your address because we know where you live and it just seems like extra details, but they will in turn hold up your whole blood work and not finish it until they get that information back. Or at least they won't release the results, whichever one it is. The middle section you can skip. This is going to be Medicare related, and so you're not going to be looking for reimbursement from Medicare. This would be a non-covered service. Below that, more pink, so more for you to fill out. This is going to be payment method. And below that is just signature that you understand you are the responsible party for payments. So that's the blood work requisition form. We're good. Next step, I just want to show you, you have a big bag with a label. So on this label, you do want to fill in your address. This would be a return address if there was a problem, if it got lost in shipping, anything related to that, you'll want that information. On the side of this shipping label, you'll see a tracking number. So when you peel this label off to stick it onto the actual package, you're gonna want to leave this slight label there so that you could track your package if you needed to. Next step is gonna be at the lab itself. We're going back to this original form. This form is fantastic for the lab. It helps them to know what to do in case you get somebody who has not worked with this process before. It's not overly complicated for somebody who does that all the time, but it's going to seem a little overwhelming to someone who's never done it. So please be patient with them, give them an extra few minutes. So again, over here, you're gonna have lots of just details. I encourage you to read all of that. Depending on how many tests you have run, they have a breakdown of how many tubes you need filled. Inside your package, this is the tube I'm referring to, and there are 4 tubes, so obviously you wouldn't do more than 4, and you could do up to 4. Once you have had your blood drawn into this, the lab is going to spin it down. Then it's called a centrifuge. Then they're going to use this, which is called a pipette, to bring your blood from this tube into this guy. And this is where we're gonna have our travel happen. So once the blood is broken down properly, they're gonna put it over here into these. They'll be labeled properly. And this is what actually gets sent to Genova Diagnostics. There are also 4 of those. Once they have them, they're gonna freeze these. So it's not an in-out thing. Even if you are gonna handle shipping for some reason instead of the lab, you need to give them a couple hours to freeze this. Once it is frozen, they're going to put these with your blood inside into this little bag. And that bag in turn is going to go in here on top of the ice pack. And then we're gonna have the lid, of course. Once the lid is on, the ice pack is good. They even included a rubber band. Wrap that around. That rubber band in turn will hold everything together. And then we're gonna repack the bag. So this goes inside, excuse me, repack the box. This goes inside. Your requisition form, which is that paper, they request that be on the top inside of here, okay? After you've accomplished that, everything goes inside this bag and then it's good to go. So ultimately, you're going to leave the lab after they draw the blood into these. You're gonna leave them with these instructions, which tell them step by step what to do. On the back side, you're gonna find shipping information and details. And so they're gonna recommend that you do this anytime Monday through Friday with things and shipping and all this stuff. I'm gonna recommend Monday through Wednesday at the latest, because again, I would be sad if you go through the effort of doing all this and it doesn't get shipped in time and it sits at the lab all weekend waiting for somebody to get there and spoils in some way. So Monday through Wednesday, and most of the labs that we refer you to handle the shipping side of it, but bring this paper so they can look it over and know exactly what to do. So for your part, you're gonna have your shipping label filled out, you're gonna have your requisition form filled out, and all that's gonna be included in this packaging that you bring to the lab. So I think that's everything. So we're good to go. Thanks so much.